Hi guys, my name is Tyler Cassidy with One Made Up Mama, and today I'm going to do a very quick run through using just my buff brush to apply my makeup. I have just the typical hack stack here, that's 8 colors total, and I have a concealing color, my main color, a brightening color, my contour, lip and cheek color, bronzer, my setting powder, and my illuminator. And then I also have my setting spray, which is Fit-ish setting spray. Absolutely love it. And then just in case I need it, I also have my beauty blender here as well. This is the Perfector sponge from Saint. And that just kind of picks up any excess if we need it. So I'm gonna do this very quickly to show you how fast it can be done, how simple it can be, and if you have any questions, of course, let me know. But I'm just gonna jump right into it. So the first thing that I do is I cover any discoloration with my darkest color. So for me, that is Mango, this orangish shade down here. So I'm gonna use it to color my under eye circles, just right here. If you want to use your brush, you could use the small end of your buff brush. I just like to use my finger because my fingers are so small that they can just cover that area that I'm trying to tap onto there. And the key thing is that you don't want to use a whole lot of product, and you also don't want to put it over area that doesn't need correcting. So I'm not putting it all over, I'm just putting it over my darkness to neutralize. Any blemishes, I'll go ahead and tap a little on there. And this isn't necessarily removing them at this point, but it is putting a base layer there to, one, neutralize it, but two, and more importantly, it creates this this layer so that your next color will hold on, and you won't have any blemishes showing throughout the day. You won't have any wearing going on. This one, I might need some powder on to hold that color because it's a pesky blemish. And then I'm just gonna take my Perfector, make sure that I don't have any excess in those areas, just kind of smooth it all out. Now, if you wanted to use a primer, you could use a primer before you put your makeup on. I've gotten to the point where I don't need a primer anymore, so I just skip that step. Now I'm gonna use the large end of my buff brush and go into my main color. For me, that is Candlelit. And I am applying this just like I would my foundation. The buff brush is made to have a full coverage, so it's gonna go on heavier than some of our other brushes will. But you will see how much coverage you can get from such a sheer layer. So I like to smooth out this area, but anywhere that I have that discoloration, I tap over. So if I have a blemish or anything that I'm really trying to hide, I'll tap over it instead of buffing it there. And that just kind of ensures that my makeup isn't gonna move around, and it's just gonna stay in that one spot. Do a little bit here just to get that blemish covered and anything else, some scarring. Okay, and my forehead. And a little bit on my nose. And then don't forget your eyes. Sometimes I forget my eyes. And by the end, I'm like, oh, that looks a little crazy. Okay, so main color is finished. If you want to, if you feel like you need to, you can use your sponge here and just pick up excess. Next, I'm gonna go into my contour color, which is Henna. I'm gonna use the smaller end of my brush now. And our contours are a little bit harder in consistency, so you need to press down a little bit more. Our highlights are very soft, so it will pick up a lot on the brush. So you don't need to press heavily when you use the brush on your highlights, but I would press down a little bit more when you are trying to get your contour on the brush. And then you're just gonna go about from your highest point of your ear And imagine a line to the corner of your lip and stop at your eye. And always buff upwards when you're blending it in. This is going to give you those chiseled cheekbones and lift your face up. Okay. And then I also like to contour my forehead. So I just follow my hairline and make sure to get up in there. And watch your part. You want to make sure you get that in there too. And I kind of make like a triangle like this. And this is just creating dimension, kind of giving you that brightness in the center of your face and really making your features pop. I'm going to do my jawline as well. So always start heavier and line it. And then with your jaw, you just pull that down and blend it out. And don't be scared about the blending. Everything blends out so beautifully. You can't really like overdo it with the creams and panic. So I know before I started with Saint, it was a struggle if I put on too much. And I was like, oh no, now I've ruined everything I just did. It's not like that with the cream makeup. Okay, once that is all blended in, if you want, you can contour your nose. I'm just gonna take a tiny bit and go down each side of my nose. You really don't wanna do too much here. Just a little product. And smooth that out. And then I kind of like connect them down here. If you want, you can pop some under your lip. It kind of gives a shadow effect. Okay, now I'm gonna move to nude lip and cheek here. So my blush, I'm gonna use the large end and just pop it on above where my contour was. Again, just blending upwards. Try not to get too close to your eye. You want to leave this area brightened. But the next step will save you if you do, so don't stress too much about it. Okay. I like to take my sponge here and just smooth that all out up there. Like so. You can also take that color and pop it on your lips. Any lip and cheek you can do this with. I went a little outside my line there. Okay. Now, to be safe, I'm gonna make sure I got all of that contour off. I'm gonna go back to my top layer and I'm gonna brighten with my brightest, lightest color. Just a little bit. A little goes a long way here. So I'm just barely tapping and I'm gonna go under my eye, start by my nose and work my way up. I do that because I don't want all the product under my eye. So I don't wanna start here. I wanna start low and then pat my way up. So then you don't have any creasing and caking under your eye because we have so much movement there. And that skin is so delicate. You don't want to overdo it and then see it later in the day. Same on this side. I'm going to start low, but you can see how that just really brightens it up and gives it a pretty pop. And like I said earlier, this is cleaning up. If you came a little too high with your blush, this cleans that up and gives you that even brightened look. Sorry if you hear my son. He slept in this morning. We were so proud, so he's full of energy. I'm gonna pop that too here. If you want, you can put a little on your forehead for that extra brightness. A little on your chin. And what I like to do is take my pinky and then go right in between those two contour lines. Smooth that out a little bit. And right on this right here. Cupid's bow is like here. I don't know what these two lines are. Is that still your Cupid's bow? I don't know. If you know, tell me. Okay, and then the final step, sorry, there's 2 steps left. The final step for your main colors, I guess you could say. Some sparkle illuminator. It's a powder. You could use it here, but if you're going to use a cream, which I'm going to because I have a cream bronzer, I wouldn't suggest using a powder just yet unless it's your final step. So for me, I am going to grab my illuminator with my finger, just a tiny bit. Glamazing is powerful. Tap it and then kind of, you can really see it in this light. Let's see if you will on this side. Oh, there you go. That shows you how powerful it is. And I feel like as an artist, you feel like it's kind of amateur to use your finger to do your makeup, but it's so realistic and so much easier. I feel very in control when I'm using my hands. I've been found. There we go. And then I'm gonna add some bronzer. So I'm gonna take the large end here, tap it into my bronzer. Again, this bronzer is strong. It can go on heavy. So don't overdo it when you're applying it. And I like to apply it up here. You can put bronzer all over. Like this bronzer can give your full body a glow, but I like to do up here on the corners of my forehead, a little bit on my cheeks, just to give me some sun. And the point of bronzer is to go anywhere where the sun would hit you. And contour is creating shadows. So some people like to contour with their bronzer. You don't want to do that. So you want to put contour here, bronzer where that sun hits you, contour where those shadows are, if that makes sense. And then the last step then is going to be setting it. So you can go all over with your sponge, make sure everything is blended in well. Once it is, find your setting spray if you're choosing to use one. Spray it a few times. Whoa, open my eyes too soon. Finish is strong. And then the final step is Vanilla Dust setting powder. So for sure I want to use this over any blemishes. I just pick it up on the point. So for me, that one was right there. Got a little bit here. Little bit here. I had one up here. And then if there's anywhere else you want to set, if you like a matte look, you can use this. You could leave it with the setting spray for a dewy look, or if you like the dewy but you also want to use setting powder, you can do setting powder first and then follow it up with your setting spray. That'll give you a dewy look. So right now I've got the dewy glow. If I wanted matte, just to give you an idea, take some on that sponge and I can press it wherever I want it. So you can clean up those cheek areas, get that jaw popping. If you want to do under your eye, you can. I'm going to kind of avoid that. But I do feel like I want to add, and you can, as long as you didn't put powder over it yet. See a little bit here. That I want brighter. There we go. All right, you guys, that was my full face. Beginning to end, I got all the products on. It's been 14 minutes through everything, explaining it to you. Now I just have to put my mascara on, brush my brows through, and I'm good to go. If you have any questions, let me know. You can find me at One Made Up Mama Tyler Cassidy on Pinterest and YouTube. You can find me at One Made Up Mama on Instagram and Facebook. And thank you so much for watching. Take care.